Hello, and thank you for giving us an opportunity to share information about the state's new accountability system called the California School Dashboard. The California School Dashboard is a new web-based accountability system which was just released to the public as a prototype this past March 15th. Full implementation of the dashboard is expected to be released this fall. Our goals are to give you an overview of the brand new California School Dashboard, as well as provide resources you could utilize when learning more about the dashboard. At the end of this presentation, we will take a look at the dashboard reports that are available for BREA, and our goal with showing you this data is simply to familiarize you with the dashboard layout and the reports it contains. In the fall, we will have an opportunity to dive into specific BREA data when the dashboard is fully implemented.
The dashboard is a new web-based accountability system that fosters continuous improvement by encouraging a deeper look at data from districts, schools, and student groups on certain state and local indicators. The emphasis for the new dashboard is performance on multiple measures. This new multiple measure system replaces the former Academic Performance Index, or API, which was based solely on testing results, and the federal requirement to calculate adequate yearly progress, or AYP. The new accountability system reflects a clear expectation that all districts and schools can and should improve. It also emphasizes equity by focusing on student group performance. The new dashboard will aid in providing information for instructional decisions at the local level.
Based on the Local Control Funding Formula, or LCFF, which was passed in 2013, California's new accountability system is based on multiple measures. These measures are used to determine district and school progress toward meeting the needs of their students. The measures are based on factors that contribute to a quality education, including high school graduation rates, college and career readiness, student test scores, English learner progress, suspension rates, and parent engagement.
District and school performance are measured using a combination of both state and local indicators. First, we will look at the state indicators. The state indicators apply to all districts, schools, and student groups. These student groups include race and ethnicity, socioeconomically disadvantaged, English learners, students with disabilities, foster youth, and homeless. The state indicators that will be reported are listed here and include graduation rate, academic performance for both English language arts and mathematics, suspension rate, English learner progress, college and career preparedness, and chronic absenteeism. Please note that data for college and career preparedness will not be made available until fall 2017, and chronic absenteeism will not be made available until fall 2018. Progress on the indicators shown here is reported through the dashboard. The state indicators use the following color-coded scale from blue to red, which we will talk about in detail later in our presentation.
Districts will use the local indicators to evaluate and report their progress on priority areas. These local indicators will require districts to determine and report whether they have not met for 2 or more years, not met, or met for each applicable local indicator. The first local indicator is basic conditions, which includes teacher qualifications, safe and clean buildings, and textbooks for all students. The remaining local indicators include implementation of academic standards, school climate surveys, and parent involvement. Local indicators will become available in the near future.
On the California Department of Education, or CDE website, they have 2 types of reports. The first report is called the California School Dashboard Report, which within itself features 4 different types of reports. The second report is called the California Model 5x5 Grid Placement Report. It's important to understand how these 2 types of reports are connected. The California Model 5x5 Grid Placement Report is what feeds the data for the other 4 reports found within the California School Dashboard. We will begin looking at the California School Dashboard Report to better understand the colors that we will find on both the dashboard reports as well as the 5x5 grid. There are color-coded performance categories for schools and districts. Schools and districts are rated on 5 performance levels, from red being the lowest to blue being the highest. The new system won't just measure how schools are doing, It'll also show if scores are improving or declining over time. In other words, it captures both the current status and change over time. Circles are used in the dashboard to graphically display the performance levels for districts, schools, and student groups. Each circle has a different number of segments that corresponds to a specific color. For example, the red performance level will always have one colored segment, and the blue performance level will always have 5 colored segments. Having different numbers of colored segments allows the viewer to distinguish the performance levels or colors if the report is printed in black and white.
The 5x5 grid placement report gives us a better idea visually of what is meant by status and change. The 5 color-coded performance levels gives us 25 results within each table for each of the state indicators for districts, schools, and student groups with 30 or more students. Status, which is shown vertically, is based on the most recent year of data for the indicator. Change, which is shown horizontally, is the difference between performance from the average of the previous year's data and the current year's data. As you can see from the table, there are 5 status levels ranging from very low to very high, and 5 change levels ranging from decline significantly to increase significantly. There is a 5x5 color table for each of the following state indicators: suspension rate, English learner progress, graduation rate, and academic progress for both English language arts and mathematics. The California State Board of Education approved separate performance standards for each state indicator based on the current distribution of statewide performance for status and change, much like grading on a curve. Therefore, the performance standards are different for each indicator. When analyzing the 5x5 grids, the desired outcome or goal may change based on the indicator being measured. For example, here is a 5x5 grid for suspensions in a unified school district. The goal for the suspension rate is to have a low rate for status and a decline in rate for change. Notice how a district would be in the blue area if they currently had a status of very low or low rate of suspensions, as well as the number of suspension has declined or significantly declined over time. Let's take an example for suspension rates. Suppose a unified district had the following suspension rate for the 2014-15 school year of 3.8%. This is considered the district's status level. The district would place within the medium level. To calculate change, first obtain the prior year's rate. For this sample district, the previous rate was 4.1%. To complete the calculation, you must take the current rate minus the prior rate. In this example, the change would be negative 0.3%. The negative indicates a decline in the rate, and therefore this district would find itself here in the declined level for change. When considering both status and change scores, the district would be placed here in the green portion of this grid for the state indicator of suspension rates. When looking at other indicators such as the academic performance, English learner progress, graduation rates, and college and career preparedness, the desired outcome or goal would be high or increased scores versus the previous example for suspension rates. This is an example of a 5x5 grid for the academic indicator of English language arts and literacy assessment. For this grid, a district or school would find themselves in the blue area if they currently had a status of high to very high levels of achievement, as well as the number of points scored has increased or significantly increased over time. It is important to note that while the sidebar for status and the top bar for change performance descriptors may change based on the indicator, the grid remains the same in that the red will always be on the bottom left and the blue will always be in the top right.
Now we will take a look at the CDE website. First, we will look at the California School Dashboard. Please note that there are 2 resources at the bottom of the search bar. There's a fast start guide, as well as a video tutorial if you'd like to know more. First, we search for Brea within the search bar. We are going to click on Brea Olinda Unified today. There are 4 reports which you can find on the top tabs. The first tab will bring you to the Equity Report, which will show the performance level for all students on the state indicators. It also shows the total number of student groups within each indicator, as well as highlights how many of those groups are either in the orange or red region on the 5x5 grid. The Equity Report also shows performance for local indicators. This feature has not yet been made available. If you click on any of the state indicators within the Equity Report, it'll automatically bring you to the second tab, the Status and Change Report. This report shows the performance levels for that single indicator for all student groups. It shows the number of students in each particular group, as well as both the status and change. Within the specific indicator, you can filter to see certain performance level colors. For example, you can select yellow to highlight all student groups who are found in the yellow performance level by clicking on the tabs above. The third tab, Detailed Reports, is coming soon. The state is communicating that this will be available next month, April 2017. These detailed reports will show year-to-year data for the state indicators as well as the locally collected data for local indicators. The data will be organized into 3 groups: academic performance, academic engagement, and school conditions and climate. The fourth tab, entitled Student Group Report, is where you can go to find all of the student groups for the state indicators on one organized table. We're now going to toggle back to the CDE website and open the 5x5 grid option. We are going to search for Brea. We're going to select Brea Olinda Unified from the list and choose Suspension Indicator. Looking at the district's 5x5 grid, we can choose an indicator at the top. Here you will see the same grid we saw earlier with status along the side and change along the top. At the district level, we will see schools in the grid. If you click on any one of the schools, you will begin to see student groups within the grid. You can also dial down and see more numbers under the View Detailed Data link here on the right. Please keep in mind that the data shown is the most current data available from the state level. For certain indicators, such as English learner progress, current status showing is for the 2014-2015 school year, while the change is being determined by the 2013-2014 year. The sweeping overhaul of California's accountability and continuous improvement system, ushered in with the 2013 passage of the LCFF, not only gives California a chance to address inequities, but it provides us an opportunity to address and update the way we engage and work with one another to better support Brea's schools and the students we serve. The key features for the California School Dashboard are that it provides more than a number, because as we know, a quality education is more than a single test score. Rather, we should look at the whole picture, which involves looking at multiple measures. The dashboard also allows for an increased focus on addressing disparities among student groups. Finally, the dashboard will provide more information to support the strategic planning process and instructional decisions made at the local level.
As we continue to receive updated information about the California School Dashboard and this new horizon of accountability and communication, we will continue to share that information. Please check out our district website at bousd.us for more information on the California School Dashboard. Thank you for your time.